In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to find out the number of pictures that have been taken in your Sony Alpha camera, also known as the shutter count or shutter actuations. And so let's just get into it. And so right now we are just in Chrome in the browser on my Mac. I'm going to go to tools.science.si, which is the website we're going to use to be able to get our camera's shutter count. Now there are a number of websites that can technically do this. I prefer using this site, number one, because I believe it supports the widest range of Sony camera models compared to some of the others that are out there. Number two, the code that assesses your files for the shutter count does not actually store your photos or anything on the back end. Everything is run completely in the browser. And number three, what this site uses to find your shutter count is based a lot around what Exif Tool allows and has provided. And I have a separate video on this channel all around Exif Tool and finding different metadata around your photo and video files that you can check out. So as noted here specifically on the site, what you're going to want is only original JPEG and or RAW files that have come directly from your camera. You'll want to make sure these are either right off of card or if they're on a drive somewhere, you have not altered or adjusted them and re-exported them through Lightroom or some other medium. These need to be the files that were basically as originally shot. Now, even before we do that, we can also check the supported models list, and what you're going to notice here is there are just a range of cameras that are supported. Everything from many classic Sony models, like their older DSLRs, to their newer APS-C cameras, like the a6000 series, all the way to their newer Alpha bodies, just like the a7IV, which I'm going to be testing here. So as you'll see here, I'm going to just click this little drag files here, or upload icon section of the site, and I'm going to navigate to my external drive where I have my original photos that we're going to use. In this case, I'm going to use sort of a birthday party portrait gig that I shot and just use some photos from here as an example of testing this. So I'm going to take just this random JPEG photo here of some cupcakes that I shot. Again, this is from my a7IV, which I haven't had for too long at this point, and I more often shoot video with than photo, so I'm not expecting the shutter count to be too high here, but let's see what it is. So I'm going to simply take this JPEG photo and now just hit open here from my Mac. And what you'll see here is that at the time I took this photo, I had taken up to 1,126 photos in my a7IV. Now just to demonstrate this with another photo to prove how this works, I'm going to now go back in. In this case, we're going to take a separate photo of a specific cupcake shot, but we're going to take the raw version of that photo to make sure that this processes it. You'll also notice that this is one photo beyond the previous one, so I would expect the shutter count to be 1,127 in that case, because it's one photo after. And not surprisingly, we hit open, upload, and it notes this very specific photo I just uploaded. You see here 034, and yes, this is 1,127. So truly finding the shutter count of your camera is that simple. And of course, it's worth noting that this is evaluating the shutter count of your camera at the time that you took that photo. So of course, if you're taking an older photo, it might not be representative of how many shutter actuations your camera has had since the time you took that photo. Now for two other important points that I will mention, for those of you that are using this, of course, it is worth noting that this is evaluating the mechanical shutter actuations of your camera. So if you are using electronic shutter in your Sony Alpha camera for different shots, this is not going to assess the shutter count of that. The second thing I will note that is if you're predominantly a video shooter like myself, it is worth noting that generally the camera does one shutter actuation, I believe, once you enter movie mode, and then pretty much only sticks with that until you switch back into photo mode. So of course, you're not going to see a higher count if you generally shoot movies, but that is sort of how movie-related shooting corresponds to how you'll see shutter actuations occur in the camera. And so really finding the shutter count of your camera is as simple as that. Now hopefully this little tutorial has been of some help to you. Feel free to leave a like and subscribe if it has. There are a number of tips and tricks and tutorials around camera, video, and photo related things on this channel that you can check out. For now, that's all I have to say, so thanks for watching.